All right, well, we'll kick this thing off. Welcome, everybody, to this week's Huddle, where we come to you every single Tuesday, with the exception of 2 or maybe 3 over the last
almost every single Tuesday.
And we like to discuss how to maintain forward progress in your flooring career. So whether that's growing your business in different areas, we talk a very wide variety of topics. And today's topic is maintaining your tools. And that really starts with your body being the number one tool that you use in flooring. And I know I got 2 gentlemen with me today, as always, is Daniel and Jose. And they know a bit about installing and how to keep your body from falling apart. But I did think we figure, we could start with a little bit of, actual tools. One of my pet peeves as an installer in the old days, and for sure when I was out in the field every day, dirty patch trowels or somebody leaving patch in their trowel and just letting it dry, or glue on a trowel and letting it dry, or whatever.
I share that same pet peeve. I'm just letting you know I share the same one.
I know that trowels are not ultra expensive, but why spend money where you don't need to by breaking them when you try to scrape off a ½ inch of floor patch or thin set or whatever off of a trowel? This seems real low key here, but it is my pet peeve. But
it's not about it being expensive, right? It's about going and grabbing it and getting ready to use it, and it's no longer in the condition you need it to do a good job, and you don't have no notice. That's where the pet peeve comes in for me.
Well, that and like maintain, we all have much more expensive tools or equipment that we need to maintain. I bring up the trowel because a mentor of mine, Ed Milet, says, how you do one thing's how you do everything in a given, vertical. So how you take care of your trowel is a pretty good indicator of what your van looks like. I'll almost guarantee you go up and you see a patch trowel that's just been caked up time after time and it looks like crap, just go to their van, or their truck. I'd almost guarantee you it's a mess. Same with if it's a tile company or a tile installer and their trowels are, caked full of thin set, or their grout floats have old grout on them, and they're going to try to scrape them clean when they need them. I don't understand that thought process. It's so much easier to clean it when it's wet, but I've seen it 100 times if I've seen it 1. And the point here that on actual tools and equipment, before we get to your physical health, the real fact is, if you don't take care of the trowels, your saw's probably a mess. You probably have a dull wheel on your breaker board. It's just you got to take care of what takes care of you. We've hit on this before. We've not done an episode on it, but we have hit on this before in some previous episodes. But so anyway, that's one of my pet peeves. What do you guys see out in the field that really, Jose kind of chimed in, he shares that, but what do you see out there with different flooring crews that drive you nuts from maintaining these are your assets. That's another thing.
Maintaining your work area. The work area, right? There's no reason to throw scraps everywhere and then have to clean it up. It's just as simple to keep it in the pile and then pick up one pile at the end of that room or the end of the day or the end of the job. Then they have them everywhere. That's always been a pet peeve of mine. Daniel knows it has been. But that, along with the tools, of course, and you hit it right on the nose, is clean trowels usually equals clean, organized van. Everybody hated me for a long time because at the end of the day, I'd say, we're ready to go. And I'd go outside, the van would be in shambles. Like everybody just throw things in there. I'm like, all the tools back out. What? It's 5:30. It's 6 o'clock. You know, I don't care, dude. Like if I don't know where they're at, then I don't want that in there like that because I'm gonna have to clean it. All the tools back out. It's gonna take 10 minutes for all of us, or it's gonna take 2 hours of myself.
That's the thing. It's saving time the next day. Just thinking about that trowel, like the patching trowels, someone leaves that patch on there and then you got to grab a 4-inch scraper and start scraping that off. And then you're already looking at, 15, 20 minutes of just trying to get a tool ready that should have been ready right away.
Yeah. Yeah. And it kind of comes down to, Eduardo chimed in here and said, "Howdy guys." And says, "This is true. I think I share your sentiment there. It's certainly true." And how you take care of your body. I know this is we're based in flooring, but the fact is taking care of yourself in any skilled trade is important. I know this has come up probably been more of a topic in the recent years. We kind of talked about how the females in the trade that we know seem to do a better job of taking care of themselves than we do, whether it's gloves or, good knee pads, really caring. But there's also the fact that you get up and down in your joints and your knees, and how long do you expect? Yeah, hips. How long do you expect a tool to last? Well, you're one of the tools at your disposal. You're one of the major assets. So about 5 years ago, when I was installing, I was in good shape. And then as I got into the office, I ballooned up to about 205 pounds. And so this last 5 years has been a journey for me in taking care of my body, taking care of my health. I'm 46 and trying to, live as close to, 100 as possible.
Way to say that you ballooned up to a weight that is still less than me. Thanks.
Well, I don't know. Did I show you guys that picture of me?
Yeah.
You did,
man. Hefty guy.
Totally
we all
different.
have fat
Totally
pictures.
different.
Yeah.
I mean,
well,
you're looking at my fat picture right now, so.
So the point is, I'm not talking about weight loss or whatever, but I do have a lot of experience in it now. I've maintained the weight loss for the last 5 years. I know these gentlemen have dropped some weight over the years as well. And I don't want to sound like I'm preaching here, but it certainly is important for you to take care of your body as best as possible, being at a weight that you feel comfortable with. That doesn't mean you have to be skinny or super fit or whatever, just a weight that you feel comfortable working in.
That's a good way to put it. And
my 205-pound ass out there working, my knees were killing me a hell of a lot more than they do when I decide to get out there now. That extra weight, you got to just be at a comfortable weight. By doctor's terms, I'm overweight, by 10 or 15 pounds. I feel great at the weight I'm at. But all that being said, proper hydration, making sure that you're hydrated. This isn't a fitness class, but it's certainly important to understand that how you treat your body, how you treat all your tools, everything that it takes for you to get a job done is important. So we in flooring are up, down, up, down, up, down all day long. Unless you're doing wall top.
And torquing and stretching and some very odd positions to get some cutting done.
And then if you do flash cove, you're always laying on your belly.
Yeah.
Laying on your belly, looking
laying
up,
on your side.
Learn how to do things left-handed. I mean, there's a lot of mind and body coordination that's got to go into a lot of what we do as well.
Yeah. So, I mean, the truth is you know, we don't do as much carpet in our industry, like roll good broadloom carpet in the commercial world, as back when I was installing. But even proper lifting of things, that was a huge deal. I never got injured from lifting carpet, and I did it for years and years and years, and it was just lifting it properly. So remember to take care of yourself. Don't get in such a doggone hurry on a job that you're just yanking stuff from one spot to the next and injure yourself. And what happens when you injure yourself is you lose money, especially if you're a subcontractor. You're going to lose money. You don't, unless you have workman's comp on yourself, you're going to lose some money. You're going to be sitting. Even if you do have workman's comp, you're going to go to, they'll cover your medical expenses. They ain't going to cover your time off necessarily, being self-employed. So look.
And I want to add to that too, is and an injury isn't always noticeable right away. I will let you guys know that. Like, is something, if you're doing something the wrong way for an extended period of time, the injury might not be a torn muscle, or you might not walk away saying, oh, I'm hurt right now. But over the course of 5 years, 10 years, you could sustain some long-term injuries by just not thinking things through and improper technique.
Yeah, stuff creeps up on you all of a sudden. Your back, whatever, your knees. So, I mean, take it with, take this how you, and apply it to your life, to your career as you will, but properly taking care of yourself and thinking about your next move when you're doing flooring is important. Guys get out there. I've seen guys going, they're just getting after it. And I'll tell you a story. We had a guy on our crews that he was 34 and awesome. CFI certified guy. I think he got all the, was C2 certification, had some other trainings, very, very good installer, cared about his work, but he went at everything like he's killing snakes. And a couple of years ago, it's been about 3 or 4 years ago, him and his brother were a team. They were one of our subs, and they both quit. And they went to start driving trucks, making way less money, but they were doing delivery truck driving, paid by the hour. And one of them came back because of the money. The other one has made his life work for the last 3 or 4 years. And he was a wonderful installer. We lost, and the only reason was because he just said, my body's breaking down. He was 35. My body's breaking down. I can't keep doing this forever. So that brings up a few things that is probably past. Is it real echoey when I talk?
No.
Okay.
Not too bad.
It brings up a few things. First off, obviously, like I said, taking care of yourself, not going at things so crazily, and realizing that you've got a long career ahead of you. But how many of these guys that when we are talking about shortage in labor, having the next step after installation, we've talked about that in some podcasts, and there's opportunities out there, whether it's, being assessor with Go Carerra, or a mill rep or a tech rep or whatever. There are some verticals. We aim to continue to improve that, but that's one thing the industry's talked about a bit. The life expectancy of a flooring contractor. I say life expectancy. You're in 10 years and you die. No.
Seems like it sometimes.
I meant the career expectancy. Like, how long can you do this, right? Hey, Eduardo said the belly is your third pad. So
I love that, dude.
That's kind of funny. Anyway, doing some some things to maintain your career, but then building your mind. We've done a lot of podcast huddles on how to improve your skills and those kinds of things that will allow you to move to that next step in the future. And maybe take a tech rep job or take an assessor position, any of that kind of thing. You got to build your mind, but also you got to take care of your body. I know a lot of old installers that just didn't do it and they're paying for it now. I was on that path. I didn't wear knee pads, I didn't take care of myself. Luckily, I was not in, every day on my knees for 30 years. I got up and started my company fairly early in my career and was able to get off my knees in probably, 10 to 15 years or whatever it was. But point is, take care of yourself, guys, gals. In fact, guys, talk to the gals because they'll tell you how to do it. But maintaining your career really and keeping it going forward, like the huddle says, forward progress is, you got to have a body that's going to stick with you through this. So I know
find balance for sure.
What's that?
So you got to find balance for sure. You can't have one without the other.
Yep. And I know this is going to fall on a bunch of deaf ears, but because I'm no fitness trainer or anything, but I can just tell you from experience, I've watched a lot of guys go down, and I just gave you an example of a guy that was 35 and quit our industry. If we want to talk about labor shortage, part of the problem is, some of these guys go at it so hard that by year 10, they're ready to get off their knees and get into something else because their body's breaking down. So what's your guys' thoughts? I'm not a personal trainer. I just thought we'd have an open discussion about this.
Yeah. I'll add to that.
Because if we're talking labor shortage and you got 35-year-olds quitting because their body's not keeping up, what do we do?
Number one thing for me, man, is I don't care who you work with or who you work under or what kind of competition they make. Go invest in some knee pads right away. Right away, man. Like, I didn't wear knee pads for the first 5-6 years of my career, and I'd like to get those 5 or 6 years back, to be honest with you, because there's a lot of moving parts down there, man. I was a lot bigger when I started, a lot bigger in those 5 or 6 years. That's a lot of weight, a lot of movement on those knees and my shins and my ankles and my back for improper support. It's a domino effect. I would say knee pads would be my number one thing.
Do you guys wear back braces? I know a couple guys wear back braces as they install.
It is a hit or miss on me. Sometimes yes, sometimes no.
What'd you say, Daniel?
Yeah, sometimes I wear a back brace. It just depends on how messed up I am at that moment.
Yeah, it's more wear them when you feel you need it instead of trying to prevent, right? But if you're down doing BCT, or you're going to be down for an hour and a half at a time, I could see a back brace being very helpful for that time.
And moving it.
Yeah.
He's 63.5 pounds a box. Moving that crap around can catch up to you pretty quick too.
Yes.
So Rollins says that he can do, let me see, let me find it. When you're 134, you can do what you want.
He is maybe the oldest man alive still doing flooring. He rocks, by the way. Yeah, you look great, Roland, for all the years you've been installing, brother. You ought to tell us what you've done.
Right. And then Jorge says that, using power stretchers is where it's at. Let the tools do the work for you. And that's
100%.
Damn. I wish I would have thought of that. That's brought that point up. That may be the most important point.
And Jeremy says that playing softball helps keep you in shape, but I think a lot of it has to do with your diet, because I've seen him gain a little bit of poundage over the years.
Well, I think softball.
Maybe it's the beer at the softball tournaments.
I don't think he drinks much.
He doesn't drink.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
he just doesn't eat vegetables.
I got a comment that says health and discipline go hand in hand with career success.
Yes.
I would agree.
So with what I'm thinking is, like Jose said that, coming in and not using knee pads, and that really messed me up. But what I really didn't pay attention to was the hips, and just like walking on old adhesive and stuff, my hips used to kind of pop out all the time. And now I just had the weight loss surgery like a year and a half ago. And the reason I got it was because during COVID, one of my hips just went out on me while we were on a job site. Like I went to go stand up and I just went right back down, and I couldn't do anything.
So what was that? What do you think that like particular, like what were you installing? What was it, the glue adhesive walking on that for?
I think that has a lot to do with it, because I remember coming up and then always walking on the adhesive and taking those steps, and I would feel my hips stretching. But not only that, it's when you're installing, you're constantly have your legs out on an angle, and you're not really
your
paying
hinge.
attention to your posture and everything. You're just trying to get in the best position to install.
So what's the worst flooring to install from this, with this perspective about, your body wear and tear?
My opinion is VCT, because it's such small and compact. You don't think about it because of the size, but you'll grab a box and you'll rotate it. You'll put a box here, there, you'll reach, you'll lean backwards as far as you can, bend, grab, a half a box with one hand and slide it forward. I think VCT is probably one of the ones that got me the best of me over the course of my installation career. Only because of how much we did. That probably has a lot to do with it too. We did a lot of VCT when I started, and you just don't think about it because it is so small and compact. But when you're working with a roll of carpet or sheet vinyl, you're like, I gotta lift it here, I gotta pivot here, I'm gonna need help with that.
Yeah, but damn carpet can be heavy, and you gotta get up flights of stairs sometimes. Can't fit it in elevators. You got a 60-foot drop on the second floor. It's not going in an elevator, at least not your normal size elevator. So I think that from, I would say carpet. Eduardo says ceramic. I don't know. Ceramic to me has always been like the oldest installers I know are in ceramic tile. Like the older guy, I'm talking 60s and 70s. I had a guy that worked for me. He retired when he was 72, and he came back when he was 74 and worked till he was 80 installing ceramic tile, and passed away. He retired about 81 or whatever, and he worked for other flooring contractors, flooring companies as well. But his nickname was Cowboy. And he was a hell of an installer, but he went on forever, dude. It wasn't until he retired that he ended up passing away about 3 or 4 years later. But of course, he was 83 at that point. But he couldn't quit moving. He was one of those, sparky guys that just could not sit still. So tried retirement on for a day or two and then went back at it. But resilient. I mean, all of it's hard on your body. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, Jeremy says that he thinks that the rolled rubber flooring, the thicker stuff, 3/4 inch.
Oh yeah,
that's what gets it for him. And then the adhesive that comes with it, because you gotta, if you're not using two hands to spread it, you're not spreading it right.
That is a good point. That damn urethane adhesive when you're doing a rubber floor, man.
And Dirk says that carpet was always hardest on him, and I kind of agree with that, especially in the early part of my career, because I didn't know what a crab stretcher was for a long time. It was grab the kickers and start kicking, like kick this seam together. The glue's already set up and it's still got to go. So
it's starting to sound like just every bit of flooring is. Depends on what day and what month it is, right? If you're not doing it right.
Yeah, so they all had their tough parts. I do got to say, I remember doing a gym floor, and you want to talk about a sore elbow after spreading that friggin' urethane adhesive for all day long, and then on top of that, everything's heavy, bulky. That's a good point as well. What did the guy say about the crab stretcher? That's a dang good comment as well. I didn't even know crab stretchers existed for probably 5 years after installing.
It was horrible.
I thought
I could probably still break a cinder block with my knee, but I would prefer not to kick anything with that thing anymore.
You probably wouldn't walk for a few weeks after that. 2 knee braces. Rollins says to keep in shape, he still plays sports, but what he thinks is kept him going for the 150 years so far is make sure you learn how to lift and balance a load, and he stretches before he starts working.
There you go.
That's a good point. I remember a job site we had to stretch and flex.
Roland's been around for a long time. If he says to stretch before you get going, that's probably a good idea. He also brought up like all the balancing and all that, and you hit on that as well, Daniel, is use equipment. You got for carpet, you got carpet dollies. If you don't have a carpet dolly, put a piece of wood, block of wood over your 2-wheel dolly, lay it down, and it will work as a carpet dolly if the roll's not too big.
You don't even need the wood sometimes. Just put the carpet on there, and sometimes it's still working.
Yeah, as long as you're not going, I always did the little wood just because I didn't want it to crease the carpet too bad when I was getting ready to install. But point is, use equipment to move your stuff around. Use, like I said, they have a lot of this. I know that one of the best tools in sheet vinyl is sheet vinyl rollers. I mean, it's like,
oh man,
right?
This whole thing is about taking care of tools, right? And taking care of yourself. I just replaced the rollers on our sheet vinyl cart because we used it so much that the bearings went out.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna go old school and start rolling it again. I actually bought another one and then replaced the stuff so that now we have 2, and then he got another one for free from somewhere. So we got 3, and
we've just kind of went full circle right there on how taking care of your tools can take care of your body.
Yeah.
Keeping that stuff up to, snuff, and keeping your tools in good shape, and demo tools too. I know some of the demo tools are expensive, but we were on a project a few months ago and the guys had big, hammer drills, basically 1-inch hammer drills with a flat paddle on the end taking up VCT. They beat their asses to death, excuse my French, for hours doing that. And they were wasted after tearing up 3,000 feet. Now, I know that some of the tools that Danny sells over at Wolf can be expensive, or even the Nationals. But investing in some of those self-propelled demo machines, we didn't even bring up demo, carpet demo. Especially Lee's wet set. Beat my ass several times.
Still does.
We just had some guys tearing some off of a stage, and I'm sorry to the preferred team. My apologies, but a wood stage by hand in 1-inch strips, and it 1 week, man, for like 100 yards.
Oh my
I mean,
goodness.
it was pretty bad.
Yeah, you got like the trifecta. You can't even use a real good demo machine on a wood stage.
No, we tried everything.
We tried multiple.
Yeah, did you try the carpet puller?
Yep. Tried the carpet puller. Tried the turbo machine. Tried we call it the mini turbo. I don't even know the real name of it.
The Duro
stripper.
Yeah, Duro stripper. We tried that with the blades upside down, backward, sideways.
Tried everything.
Tried everything.
Well, there you go. Even when you do your best, you're going to end up doing something. That's why you got to stretch. I hope your guys stretch before that stage, because that sounds like a pain. I'm just saying, like that demo, if you can, in commercial, we're typically on concrete slabs most of the time. And I know there's a lot of residential on the coasts and, different areas that's concrete slab. In the Midwest, there's a lot of wood substrate with basements. And so it's hard to use a heavy machine, or even some of the demo machines that just tear the wood apart. But there's other, like for tearing up carpet, glue down carpet, that carpet puller, the old cage puller, that thing, we've got two of them. One of them's been, I've literally had it since like 95, 96, bought it from my boss that I worked for at the time. I guess I actually owned it since 99, but I was using that same machine in 95, 96. So they last a long time. A lot of this equipment will cost you a few $1,000, but if you take that over lost time, wear on your body, and long-term health, they're worth the investment, guys, in my opinion.
Yeah, and Jorge brought up furniture moving. That's hard on your body too.
Oh, man.
They got furniture slides for that.
Furniture slides, those slings that go under, those types of tools.
Air sleds. Holy smokes. I remember the first time we used those. I think I went home and moved my refrigerator just for fun.
I've been wanting to clean behind this thing. Let me use this. That's funny. Yeah. So using equipment, taking care of the equipment takes care of your main piece of equipment, which is your body.
Yeah. And you think like we have one of the first ride-on removal machine that we bought over 10 years ago, and it's
just bought it.
Crazy to think that it's been that long, because especially this guy over here, he's like, man, we just bought that. We bought it like 10 years ago. And it's still working. I mean, they don't sell the original charger for it anymore, so it beeps all the time, which is super annoying. But I mean, it's still doing its job. It's still running.
Yeah, I just put new batteries in mine about 6 months ago. My National. That was
maintaining it. Not the cheapest thing to do, but in the big picture,
dude,
it's an investment.
I would have to had 30 guys to take care of what that machine's taken care of for me over the years. There's no comparison.
Yeah, and you think about that too, like 30 guys and how many man hours it would have taken, and that machine's probably only got, it's probably got less than 1,000 hours on it.
Yeah. So the get the right equipment, maintain that equipment, take care of it, and take care of your body. And if you do all that at the same time, your equipment will take care of you as well.
Eduardo's saying that the chat isn't working. So if he has a question, he can just type it on this Q&A, right?
Oh yeah, it looks like the chat works. Sorry, Eduardo, but if oh yeah, so Jocelyn says make sure y'all eat. Food is the fuel needed for the job. That's a good point. Don't forget to eat. Take care. And I'll throw in there, try to eat decent food if you can. I know when I was out in the field all the time, I mean, it's hard not to just go grab the fast food joint down the street. But
the gas station hot dog.
Yeah, the
speed dog,
the quick stop hot dog. We did have a guy that worked for me for many, many years that always, every single day, had a peanut butter and jelly sandwich and 2 bananas. Every single day.
Stan, I worked with an old guy, Stan. That's what he had. He had himself a little deli sandwich, an apple, and a banana, and water. That's all he had.
And a tomato. He's the one that taught me how to not cut up the tomatoes and put it on the sandwich. Just bring it and take bites of it while you're eating your sandwich, so it doesn't get soggy.
And when I was working with him, that was about 15 years ago, and he was already in his late 70s and still healthier physically than a lot of the young guys that were early, mid-20s, not taking care of themselves. I learned a lot from that guy.
What was his name?
Stan, what was his last name, Daniel? I'm drawing a blank on his last name. I should know it. Johnny knows it if he's in there.
He left already. Eat good food, not Casey's Pizza.
Eat good food, not Casey's Pizza. I think that that's probably my favorite stop if I'm in a hurry. Someone says, eat rotisserie chicken and keep gaining muscle.
Protein.
All right. Well, I know this was a little, maybe better suited for a fitness podcast, but the truth is that if you don't take care of yourself, your number one tool, and you don't buy the right equipment, take care of your equipment, your number one tool is going to let you down. I've seen it happen, and I've experienced it with our crews. So I'd encourage everybody to take care of yourself, lift right, use your equipment, work smart, not hard. You can do both actually, but work smart for sure. And, try to keep your career going for many, many years. I mean, there's examples of plenty of guys that make it for years, and they're usually the guys that took care of themselves. So
it's easier to work harder when you have the right equipment because you're not tearing yourself up doing everything.
well, and the freaking equipment's funner than pulling up carpet with you in 1-inch strips. Hell of a lot funner to jump on a piece of equipment or use a turbo or something like that. That's
until it goes through a wall.
well, always collateral damage. Better
Proper use of the equipment. Proper use of the equipment.
Proper use. All right, guys. You guys got anything in closing on this little shorter of a podcast? Not that much shorter, actually.
Take care of your mental health as well. Mental health has a lot to do with your physical. If you're not correcting yourself mentally or consciously making an effort to take care of yourself mentally, then the physical part isn't even going to matter. You're just not going to care at some point.
I think sometimes they go hand in hand. Like,
yeah,
I go see a therapist through the bariatric place that I had surgery at because, it's a huge change. And not only that, it's like they said, you ever need to talk to anyone about anything, definitely, give us a call. And there was one point where I was like, yeah, it's time to talk to someone. And it does a lot, man. It really does. All you got to do is all it is essentially a vent session with someone that's not going to say anything or judge you. And sometimes that's all you need.
Get past that stigma.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's great advice, guys. I tell you what, it's pretty easy to get down when the economy and you got wars and all this stuff, and I don't want to bring any negativity in to a great degree, but taking care of your mind, compare yourself to yourself yesterday and not other people. That's a trick that one of my mentors taught me, is like, don't compare yourself to other people. You compare yourself to the version of you that was yesterday and the version of you want to be. And then you're just building upon what you've done yesterday, and you can make those little 1% changes. And it makes a big difference in your mindset, makes a big difference. Daniel just told you, man, it goes hand in hand, taking care of your mind and taking care of your body. And a good, strong mind usually equals good, strong body. And not always, but they do correlate. And then take care of your equipment. And by the way,
Andy McWilliams started a group on Facebook called Mind and Body for the Flooring Trade. So
what is it
anyone
called?
wants to jump on that, Mind and Body for the Flooring Trade.
And that's
I
on
believe that's what it's called. That's on
a Facebook group.
Yep. It's a group. Yeah.
Shoot that out. We'll post that in our social. I'm interested in that myself.
Yeah, he's got some good motivational posts on there. There's a good following on there as well.
Awesome.
One of the best things that I've learned on there is something that he posted when he said, "It's none of my business what other people think about me. Now I live my life like that."
That is 100% the best advice ever. I've heard that saying before. It's hard to live by sometimes. It's like, because we do care about how we're perceived as humans, just the very nature. but damn, if you could take that advice and take it to heart, yeah, that's a big improvement right there. So awesome, guys. Thanks again for joining us this week. Appreciate all the comments and the Q&As. I didn't get to every one of them. I apologize. But we do appreciate the interaction and the participation. So we'll see you guys next week. And until then, guys, have a great week. All right. Stay safe,
Thanks.
You
stay
too.
healthy. All right. See you guys.
Yeah.